Hey, what's going on, guys? 118 Set Shadow here. We got a lot to cover today with the Market Watch, and today we're going to be looking at the theme of high rarities. In particular, I want to take a look at some SPs and holofoils, and then we've got a few singles to point out as we go along. So, why is today's theme all about high rarities? I'm going to show you why with just this one scroll here. It's going crazy. Really crazy. Let's start with Wildmaster Riley, who is now sold out on TCG Player at $100. And you've had several listings sell for $90. This happened all throughout December. Yeah, there's just nothing here now. And to that same point, Prorobi is also sold out, which this one had a slight dip in the past month thanks to Youthberg not really needing to play draw triggers anymore, so I assume there were players who just decided, hey, no need to pick these up anymore, I just want to offload them. So you got some for 25. If you got them for 25, that's great. 30, and then it went back up to 50, and now it's just gone again. True enough, while Youthberg will not usually play this card as compared to the front trigger, other cater decks will definitely play this more often than not. And then finally, you've got Flare Veil Dragon, the third of the triggers that is sold out, at $75. Then, of course, you've had listings that were in the 30s and 40s over the past month. But this card, if I recall right... Oh, no. I guess... No, there were a few that sold in November up at $60 and $80 before. But yeah, these three draw triggers have had their SPs sold out as of late. And when it comes to SPs in the market, you do have to remember that D-Format is the first series in which Bushiroad implemented the one per box system when it came to SPs, though they backtracked that with FFRs and now we don't have that guarantee anymore. But with that mentality, the idea that SPs were just so readily accessible and easy to pick up kept a lot of them rather cheap to start off with. Where SPs used to be like 40, maybe 60, and even $100 in the past for Cardfight Vanguard, it was easy to find a lot of these for maybe $25 or even lower than that. There was a point when Set 1 first came out, you could have picked up the over triggers for maybe $30 a piece, and several of them were under $20. And we're going to look at those in a bit, but continuing with the look on some of the big staples of Set 4, you've got Brainwash Swirler, who only has 2 listings left, $80 and $120, and both sellers have a play set of them. Dang. It sold for $75 at its last sale, and it sold for $70 a few times. This card has been hard to sell at $80 or higher, so seeing it finally creep closer and closer to $80 for a sell is starting to scare me, especially considering that we still have one more month to go before the Chronojet deck comes out and players suddenly go haywire in terms of picking this up. There are 13 listings for the Triple R though, starting at over $45, which is nothing new really, but it's good that we at least have a few more listings on the market. Inlet Pulse's SP finally saw some sales after dropping from 120 to 80, and it finally sold at $67 over the past week. There's still a good amount of listings left, but do keep in mind this card is still pretty staple overall for Stoichia, and today Bushiroad just announced the Granfia ride line and featured Inlet Pulse Dragon in some of its playtesting. So don't be surprised. Inlet Pulse is playable in this new deck, and I would imagine since it's selling in the $60 range, it could continue to see sales get a little bit higher as we go along. As for the regular triple R, on the other hand, we are looking at good increases in price on that point. We're looking at $45 to pick this up, and there's only one $47 listing before we're starting to look at $50 again. The initial buyout of Inlet Pulse put it at $50, but not many players bought into that. I think there were only one or two sells. So it had been in the $30 range for a while, which I had been saying you really need to pick that up if it hits 30 or lower. Now it's back up to 50, and unless Bushiroad does something to reprint these staples, it's only going to look worse and worse from here. Two of the draw triggers fell off in price, though, or rather, there was one that really didn't see any increases in value, surprisingly. Serene Maiden Lena. Now, this card has been going up in value over time, and there is a $50... Ooh, there was even two $50 sells. But most of the time, this card has stayed under $40, which I find really weird. I just can't see why. There are only 4 listings left for this one, so it's pretty bad in terms of quantity to pick up. If you need to pick them up, I would say they're under 40 right now. You might want to grab them before someone decides to buy them out. And then you have Ameliorate Connector, who has been selling at $60, $50. There's one copy, okay, it's $40 when you count the shipping tag, and then you've got one seller actually selling for $40, and then it's back to $60. So the low listings are a bit of a red herring. There aren't many listings that are actually cheap for this one. And then Trick Moon is just gone. Balsagra had some announcements of support from Bushiroad over this past week, so it's no surprise that this happened. There's a lot more I could go over with set 4, but I do want to give some time to set 3, who also has another massive SP trigger buyout. Burning Flail Dragon is now out of stock at $50, $70 on the last sales. Yeah, there's not much else to say about that one. And in terms of the other crit triggers, if you saw from before, listings are really low. Blade Feather's only got one at 60. Stem Deviate has 2 listings at 50. And I can tell you, this card dropped to 25 for a little while over the last week. So, yeah, that was a really good time to buy in before this happened. Patrol Robo Decker Cop has also seen a good rise in value and has 4 listings left. So, still not bad at this point. And of course, Alana, just like Lena, hasn't been seeing as much of a buyout, but it is low on listings just like the others and is close to 50 as well. There are other SPs for set 3, but the thing about set 3 is that aside from those crit triggers, almost all the other SPs are still pretty affordable. Except for Flagberg, who is back above $30, but this one falls out a lot. So you might be able to wait for it to go down, especially with new Stoichia ride lines coming into the fray. Neatness Meteor Shower is, interestingly enough, still below $20 for its low listings, so that's not too bad. Greedon is also under $20. And Madoka. This is another one that you'll want to consider if you're playing Overlord, or just in general, because this is just a generically good Dragon Empire card. SP listings on this one are about $15, so if you do want to play a set of this, you're low on quantities, so it's going to be hard to pick that up at this point. Taking a break from the SP market, I do want to look at some of the promos here, and oh, this is good. Result of the experiment henceforth fell down again, and we've got a good amount of quantities back on the market. 15 listings for the foil at 35 starting, 25 listings at 27. Sanctitude is still above $20, and I have been hearing some rumor that we're not actually getting a reprint of the trial decks that came with this, but even if we were, this was only supposed to be in the first printing, so we'll have to hope Bushiroad has another reprint slated for this card as we go. Drag Ritter Halbei has also been getting several more listings, but it can't stay on the market. It's sold consistently for $40 so far. As I mentioned before, it was basically just going to sell on the same rate as a result of the experiment. Then taking a look at some of the other promos here, we've got Makarite's foil at $4 or $5 to start off with, 18 listings, so still quite a lot there. Plant Token and Roroa support, we're looking at Resolute Pair of Eyes and Delicate Beauty Maiden Candelaria. Prices are still okay. We're looking at $7, $8 for Resolute, and then $5, $7 for Candelaria, which I'd say they're okay. Roroa, as I mentioned, is topping in Japan now. I still don't think it's the greatest deck, but ultimately, artwork is nice, and the deck is still pretty fun to play for its combos. Nirvana Jiva, set 6, is above $20 now. And we've got quite a few listings that have been selling over the past few days. It was 18 for just a brief minute, and now we're down to 4 listings, so we're just going to have to see where this goes. Jiva is one of those cards that is likely to continue to rise in value as it continues to get more support. Changing topics a little bit, I do want to remind you guys, if you're participating in the Bushiroad Spring Fest of 2023, this is going to be one of your participation promos. If you play in D format, you get access to Petralka, who is a Highlander sort of play style, where at the end of the battle it attacks, you reveal the top 7 of your deck, and if all the revealed cards have different names and aren't Paltrika, choose one of the cards, call it, gets 10k, and if you chose another Peltraka, you ride it as stand and give it a drive -1. Why am I covering this card in this case? We're still on talk of high rarity here, so I want to bring attention to lyrical SP triggers and lyrical foil triggers. Starting with the trial deck ones. First we've got the heal trigger Kanami, who has several listings at $15 right now. And then you've got Misa, who has listings, you've got lightly played at 31 before it becomes $46. Yeah, that's pretty out of reach as it goes. Thankfully, these 2 cards do have triple rare foilings from the same, so if you aren't willing to pick up the SPs, you can at least pick those up foil. Set 1 of Lyrical Melody has quite a few foil triggers that you can look through. Nora is pretty expensive at $6 to start off with only 6 listings. You've got Pruel, you've got Elise, Elshuka, Anika. Essentially, Nora's the only one that's really expensive. Then Elshuka is about $2. The rest of them are probably around that range. We're just looking at the low values. And then you've got another one, Marguerite, who's also $2. Then we have to start looking at draw and front triggers again, foil, because Highlander requires you to play 1 of each card. The number of different crits in Lyrical is currently 7, if I'm correct. Heals, you only can play 4, but there are plenty of foil ones you can select from. But essentially, you are going to have to start looking at vanilla draw and front triggers if you want to effectively play Highlander. So they're still really cheap to pick up. Most of them are under $1. So if you do want to foil out your Highlander, this is definitely a good time to buy before other players start to jump on the same train. Set 2 has a few as well. And when it comes to the crits and heals, those are also the most expensive. Fabiola, while it has a $3 listing here, I do know this thing is sold significantly. Oh, there are actually quite a few $3 listings now, so that's not bad. Finally, for set 3, it's basically just a reprint of some of the old triggers without foiling them, but you've got the FRs of the effect heal triggers sitting at $6 and $4 respectively to start with quite a few listings. So if you want to pick those up, those are pretty affordable at this point. Continuing on, though, with the high rarity market, Genesis of the Five Greats is still red hot in terms of value. The overtriggers are going insane on this left end here, with Dragveta and Eldo Breath sitting at $100 and higher for their base listings. The remaining three are still pretty expensive for what they are. Amarta Noah is actually the cheapest among the lot right now, with Bless Favor having taken it over in both listings and price. Then we look at the Perfect Guards again, Twin Buckler. The trend overall for the Perfect Guard seems to be the same. And Violet Dragon is $69.69, of course. Bobo Mine, on the other hand, is gone. And $80 for the last listing, sold $60 after that. Oh, that's pretty wild. As for the regular Bobo Mine, we're looking at 7 listings starting at $21. It's been selling for $25. So, as I mentioned before, there's still no reprints on the horizon for cards like this, which is really, really bad. D format is overall getting really expensive on the high rarity front, and on the staple front, it's just getting insane how expensive some of these decks are. Rancor Chain has been dropping off on its SP, but it's still $40 minimum to pick up. Nabilum, basically the same thing. Barbazon is gone. And we're just going to stick to the front page there. To wrap it up, I do want to talk about a few more feature cards from today's reveal of Granfia. One of them is from set 5, Rapulus. This card's a pretty simple counterblast 1 when placed, and you call 2 plant tokens. The way Granfia works is that you have a plant gauge now. So all your plant tokens effectively fit into this gauge underneath a rose token, and then provide additional power to one of your rear guards and enable for restanding of that rear guard, which is why Inlip Pulse is playable in this deck. There are a high number of quantities for a few of these listings, but the number of listings themselves has dropped. So there's a lot of concentration into a few vendors trying to get rid of these. If you want to pick these up, it's not bad to have a set in your pocket just in case Granfia does end up using it more often than you would think. And the final card, which was also featured, Diantha, also from set 6 and has seen a rise in value as of late. $18 for its last listings, and overall the price point is still the same in terms of availability, but quantities are running low. However, I've mentioned this several times and I'm not going to stop. There is a second printing of set 6, so if you can wait, wait. And I believe some vendors have been getting more cases of set 6 recently, so expect to see a few more listings, maybe even a good deal of listings come back on the market, driving some of these prices down. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and if you have any requests, just let me know and I will see about incorporating them on my next video. And I will see you guys later.